Good morning, YouTube world. I'm your host, Paul Italia. If you haven't already, please make sure you click that subscribe button. So it's my pleasure to introduce today's guest. We got Pradeep from Arm Wrestling News in the house. What is up, Pradeep?
Thank you, Paul, for inviting me. Having a good day.
Oh, great, brother, great. So before we get into the topic at hand, I want to just kind of talk about this weekend's past events, just a real quick overview and all. We know that we just had King of Table 9. So I just wanted to get your overall perspective of the whole King of Table event in general.
Once again, close matches. Matchmaking is good, but sometimes I do think that King of the Table, they do have a very good luck as well. Whenever people are saying, well, maybe that card is not that awesome, we're not that much looking forward to it, then bam, there's suddenly immediately like classic matches like the Valera versus Lars match. Absolutely insane. Nobody expected that, and they always get it done because the Dave Chaffee versus Vitaly Lalitin event, people were talking about that card probably not being worth a buy, and it turned out to be the best match of the year. So that's they do have a good luck, and you only have luck when you really work hard in the first place.
So give me an idea, man. Your own judgment, 1 to 10, 10 being the best. Where did you have this King of Table 9 at?
10 being the really slow. That was one of my complaints when I was doing live commentary as well.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting you said that, brother, because that was the same thought that I had. I just remember I was watching it at in Arizona, and I looked down at my phone, and I'm like 4 hours. Actually, it was 3 hours in. We were just getting on the fourth match. I was like, wow, it's just a little too much. And the thing that might need a little changing for me is when they do the full 6 or 7 rounds, even if the person lost 4-0, they still continue it. So we were talking about on the Arm Wrestling Buzz yesterday how we felt about that, and we all came to the conclusion we like that if it's the main event match, but we don't feel like it should go on for all the other matches. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I've always said the best format is probably best of five. I like it the most, and yes, it makes sense. Sometimes in title matches, if they are close, you would like to see more rounds from your favorite athletes. The biggest example of that is the Hermes versus Levan super match, and that was even better because if it was not even a best of seven, it was a 6 round format that continued even after somebody won five, which doesn't happen in a best of seven. So in that case, that match continued after 4 rounds after Levan already won or already had won that match, and that's when the excitement about that match started. So there are some rare examples where even the 6 round format can be better than not only the best of seven but also the best of five format. So in some cases, once again, it depends mostly on luck, but in 90% of the cases, I'll say the winner is easily determined within the 7 round format, which is like best of seven, as soon as somebody wins four, and that too only for the important matches. King of the Table, they can stick with the best of seven forever because they do not have as many matches as East versus West. But for East versus West, best of five is the absolute best and probably the only option available because they have to continue with that many matches moving forward. And for King of the Table, I think if they somehow switch to best of seven and somehow everything comes back to the godfather of arm wrestling, Neil Pickup, because he started that 6 round format. I'm assuming either it was him or Igor Mezurenko somewhere around that 2003 2002 mark. That's when they started. Maybe Neil started it next year. Igor also did that, and you cannot tell me that the first thought that came to the mind of the promoters back in 2002 about the super match, that cannot be improved in like next 20 years. It was the first thought, so maybe lots and lots of improvements can be made about that, and we are still sticking to that old format. It doesn't work. Like in cricket, we started with like test matches which used to go for like maybe even more than 4 5 days, 7 days initially, then 5 days, then it was brought to one day cricket, ODI as we call it, one day, then T20 cricket, which is going to be in the Olympics as well in 2028 Olympics. So they keep on changing the format like everyone does that, but this 6 round format is like the probably the most ancient super match format in the world of arm wrestling, and I believe it needs to be changed. What does 6 round even mean, man? Like there is initially there was no tiebreaker, so there can be a tie, which we saw in the Devon versus Travis match back in 2011, left arm match, 3-3 score. But now there is every time a tiebreaker. So somebody has to win the fourth round. So why not just make it a best of seven? That's the
Yeah,
point that I have.
I agree. I agree. I just want to shout out a couple of the people in the chat. We got James Lee in the house, Luke Jones, Super Dro. We got I saw American Arm Wrestler in the house, Josh Holden, Tall Paul, Paul Italia Cigar, David Tomez. What's up, fellas? How's everybody doing? Timmy Turner. And there was a couple of questions in here. It says from Luke Jones. He says, "Does Pradeep even arm wrestle? I like how can you say someone doesn't train enough when you don't even compete in a sport or never have?" So, would you like to answer that,
Yeah. So Luke, what was his name?
Luke Jones?
Yeah, Luke, I'd like to ask you one question. What level of training? You said you don't even train, or did he say I don't even compete? Train or compete? Which word is you? Let me check.
He said, "Does
Okay, let's say
Pradeep?" Yeah.
let's assume you said I don't even train. So what level of training in your mind qualifies a person to commentate about such match? I would like to see the answer to that question, and then I would like to answer the question further.
So Luke, let us know in the chat. We'll let Pradeep know. And Pradeep, you do arm wrestle, man. I remember when we first got into the sport and all. I remember I used to see videos of you training with your guys and all that, and we
Yeah.
were going back and forth joking about having a match, me and you and all.
For me, the journey was kind of opposite. In the beginning, I was just a fan, didn't care about watching everything, and I was arm wrestling back then. I used to arm wrestle every day, like literally used to force kid, and that's why I was kind of in the bad books with many people. They used to think that Pradeep just wants to humiliate us in the school. So since I was like probably 10 years old, I used to literally like I used to bug people a lot. Come and arm wrestle, come and arm wrestle. Let's see. And they were like, no, bro, you just want to beat us. No, we'll try. We'll have an equal match, and we'll try to fight into some positions. That's what I always used to do in the school for many years. Then in 2000, but I never thought that I can compete in arm wrestling. 2019 was the first time when I like luckily at the same time I was getting leave from my work, so I was about to visit my hometown, and I saw a poster that in New Delhi there was a competition in 2019. I was like, can I compete? And I was like, why not? So then I went to competition, competed once again few months ago, few months later, once again few months later. Then 2020 COVID hit. Then I became way more serious about arm wrestling. And guess what? I stopped arm wrestling. So everyone starts competing, starts training when they become serious about arm wrestling. But I went the other way. I started a YouTube channel because there was no competition in COVID. Everything was shut down. And since then, I have not competed at all. So my journey is probably different than 99% people.
I like that story, man. And I also see a comment from Tall Paul that is, I like how it sounds. It says, "Imagine if NFL fans couldn't have an opinion about their team just because they are a fan and not a football player. Would be boring sport if no fan can voice an opinion." Laughing out loud.
Yeah, Paul, the doctor that attached your biceps, okay? So if you comment about that doctor next time, God forbid you don't have any injury, but if you do, then you say, I don't like that doctor's work. I'm going to go to some other doctor. So is the doctor going to tell you, let's assume if the doctor is Timmy Turner or if the doctor is Hermes Gasparini, is he going to tell you, bro, you don't have a degree in medicine, you're not a surgical specialist, so how can you talk about a doctor's job? What would your reply be to that person?
That sounds stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my reply to those comments as well. I don't need to be a doctor to comment on a doctor's job.
And I mean, Pradeep, I mean, we both know, man, we're so obsessed with this sport. You're just like everything you do is arm wrestling, bro. So just from being around it, and you also have a background because you just said how you arm wrestled. So I mean, you know all the basic moves and everything, and just being around it every day, commenting on everything, watching every match that goes by, you start learning things, you start picking up on things, and you've been doing this
Yeah,
for a few years now. So I definitely know personally you're very knowledgeable in arm wrestling. I listen to you talk, and
yeah,
it's a lot more detailed and intricate talk than most people can understand and
yeah.
all. So
Yeah, I was not strong. I'm still not strong, but I was undefeated on that left arm. Like nobody beat me until I stepped into my first competition. So I'm still at a level that if you are not an arm wrestler, you may go to gym, you may have big biceps. I'm going to beat you at least on that left arm because my right head shoulder rotator cuff surgery and I literally cannot do anything with that. So if somebody is not an arm wrestler, I will beat you. Trust me, I will beat you. But if you are an arm wrestler, you will for sure beat me. And that was always my level since I was like 10 years old.
Pradeep is feeling spicy with the left hand. So if you are a non-arm wrestler, you in this room now and you want that smoke with Pradeep, we'll make it happen, bro. So Pradeep, before we get into the big topic, I got one more. We want to talk about my event this past weekend, Greg Brown Productions event, actually. And we had a couple of guys that on the Arm Wrestling Buzz involved there. So did you get the seat event first off?
I'll say I think there was about 10, 15, 15 super matches, best of three. How many
It was
matches were there?
it was 12 super matches.
12. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I watched maybe out of those 12, I watched maybe 9 super matches, and there were some really good matches. Like in the beginning, I was watching the Manolo Sanchez super match against, I don't know the name of the opponent, but man,
Yeah.
crazy back and forth. In the first two rounds, he did try to get a stop somewhere in the match. He couldn't, got pinned without the straps. Once the straps were put on, he put the brakes on in a kind of an open arm move, then dragged him back, beat him. Everyone thought it is going to be over, and then that guy made a comeback, just pure top roll without the straps, got the job done. And in the second match, there was one good flop press without the straps. I don't know who that person was. Your match. Initially, I watched only one round of it, and I was like, Paul, it was a good match. I'm glad you trained for that. But then I really watched the other two rounds carefully, and you were really dominant. Your hand and wrist, it feels almost like really difficult for anyone to kind of stop that top roll. So your match was amazing as well. Kind of disappointed that our buddy, you know who, he pulled out of the match. Do you know the reason why?
Yeah, so the day before the event, Greg Brown gets a phone call and he says it was Tom saying that he was got to step out right hand because he hurt himself a couple days before. So that just set off, oh my God, bro. Everybody was mad. Freddie, everybody. And they're like, dude, you wait to the last day to step out. Like you didn't know this happened before, bro. So that just raised everything going. I mean, the night before they were just going back and forth. So when the match was start to go off, Freddie just grabs the mic. This wasn't planned out or anything, and he just starts calling out Tom right there, like, "Yo, bro, why aren't you pulling right?" And Tom's like, "Oh, I hurt my right," and it got everything going right away. And Tom got nice that first round, man. I was like, "Holy shit, Tom's got this, man. He got it in the bag." And then Freddie made that adjustment, came in with that press. Oh my God, bro. That was impressive. What did you think of that, Pradeep? Were you expecting that?
I did know anything about the right arm. To be honest, I didn't say that publicly, but I just by listening to the people talk and listening to who these guys have beat in the past, I was heavily favoring, not supporting, not rooting for, but I was heavily favoring in my prediction Freddie Sanchez to win that super match against Tom on the right arm. On the left, however, I thought it is going to be close, and it was close. Although Tom lost, but that match was close. I was expecting Tom to win, but yeah, I had no idea who has a flop press, who has a good top roll. But the match was cool to see, and it's good, maybe it's not so good for like seeing our buddy take so many L's. First he lost to Artem, now seeing Artem beating Paul Lin, that must have like given him for some consolation kind of a prize for sure. But yeah, I think he's learning, he's big and strong, but the conditioning part that Artem was talking about in that podcast, and who else was in your on your show today? I forgot that condition. Ryan Bone, yeah, Ryan Bone was talking about that. So that conditioning part is maybe lacking, but good match. Your match, brother. Let's talk about that. So how did it go according to your expectations? Easier, difficult? What was the case?
All right, well, it was a learning experience. So the first thing that I learned that day was being the main event of match, I didn't realize sitting there all day watching the other matches was going to be so stressful. I couldn't enjoy the rest of the event. I was just kind of like waiting on my match. Every like 10 minutes, I felt like I should be doing something. So I would get up and I would start like with the band and warming up. It was just like if I could change it, I would probably show up 2 matches before mine, warm up real quick, get on there, do my thing, and then get out of there because sitting there for a couple of hours before definitely added to the stress and anxiety. But when I actually got up there and we gripped up, I knew he was in trouble, man. When we first gripped up, I felt like I had him, and I knew he thought I was going to go right to the strap. I figured that he had that in his head, so I tricked him and I just went right for the pin. I just held on to his hand real tight and went right for the pin. The other thing that I did learn, man, is I've been competing a lot in tournaments, but not so much in super matches. The big difference that I realized was with the setup. The referee was a great referee, John Bellick, great guy and all that. But he wanted to make everything perfect, and by doing that, it was just taking a little longer in the setup. And I don't think I realized that first round I was squeezing so hard with my hand, and it kind of pumped me out like right away. And then round two, my coach Bob Brown, he started yelling. He's like, "Bro, you're squeezing way too hard." And I didn't even realize when he said that. I was like, "Oh shit!" And that's why I pumped out my hand and all. But overall, man, it was a great experience. I know a couple of things I got to change and tweak for my next match against Nanya. But yeah, overall, man, great learning experience, and I definitely performed better than I thought. So
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I saw your post about appreciating and maybe even following the Thoughtsilla style in the future of just attending the meet, being the main event, and leaving the building immediately. But that will be a problem if you're planning on shooting some content around that event, which I'm assuming sometimes you may want to do, especially if there are some bigger athletes at the event. So how are you planning on doing that then if you have some content to film there?
well, for one, this was a super match event, so there was no tournament or anything, so it was a little different for this. But for the next one would be Winter Blast. They're gonna have the super matches first. And I only believe there'll be three or four, so it's not gonna be that long wait. Once I pull, dude, and then I'm relaxed and I could just enjoy the event and all that. So I don't think necessarily I got to really change anything as far as that. But I do understand Todzilla now, because before, when I would throw these events and I would have Todzilla at them, I kind of would get like, what is he, doesn't want to hang out with us or something? Like, how come he only shows up 5 minutes before and then he's out 10 minutes after? I completely understand. So Todd, if you're watching, I do understand why you do that now. It is very smart, and I just didn't understand it before as a promoter, but it all
That's
makes sense.
that's what I do at my job. Always the last one to arrive, always the first one to leave.
I love it, man. So Pradeep, this is the big thing that we brought you on today, man, is what is going on, man? We saw this great interview with you and Hermes before the big match between Hermes and Vitali. And then after, man, I was a little confused. I thought it was a joke at first. I seen a title put out from Hermes and saying something about you, and I clicked it and I was just like, he seemed pretty mad. And what
He was
happened?
angry.
Did something happen in between the interview and the match, or like what went down?
No, it was a total shock to me. Like I discussed with Hermes about the upcoming match. As you said, I interviewed him, everything went well. And as the match was approaching, we already discussed that if Hermes wins, he's probably going to watch my commentary afterwards. Maybe sometimes I said that Hermes is like maybe a little bit cheating too much in the setup. He's moving too much in the referee's grip. When I said that, I thought, yeah, maybe he won't like it. But I was like, I would have said it if that was the match between Hermes and Devon as well, about Devon, if Devon was moving way too much. So I just didn't care about that. And
So
when I uploaded that
let me
video,
just ask you, Pradeep. So what was going on? It was in the setup. He was moving a lot. Were they in a ref script or something?
Vitali, so as dominant as I would have liked to see Vitali in the setup B, he was that dominant only in the third round. Like when he was like aggressive, I think maybe there was one false start as well when he pinned Hermes. And once again, when the restart, Hermes just couldn't react. He was dominant in the grip in the setup, just flashed it, pinned him to the side. Like in the second round, when I see like Hermes was just shifting his elbow forward, pulling backwards, so he was doing what they're supposed to do in the referee's grip at king of the table, but Vitali was not doing that. So my it wasn't really my complaint about Hermes. It was more of an observation, like, bro, Vitali, if some everybody is going before the go, why are you waiting for the gunshot? You also start running. That was my comment. And it was like 2 a.m., maybe 1:30, and I was about to go to bed, and because I had to wake up at maybe 6:30 to go to work at around 7:15, so it was already almost 2 a.m. and I was like, one final look at the subscriptions page, maybe somebody uploaded something interesting, and then I saw an hour or two ago Hermes uploaded that video. I was like, bro, now I cannot go to sleep. Message for arm wrestling news, obviously a world champion is giving me a message, I'm going to watch it. So I watched it, and when your favorite arm wrestler is kind of trashing you online, it kind of bothers you a little bit. So Hermes, you took maybe 15 to 30 minutes of sleep away from my life, bro. I was about to go to bed, then I watched your video. I watched it twice, so 3 minutes, 6 minutes. Then I thought about it, then I read a few comments, and then maybe it stayed in my head for like 15 minutes more. You took 30 minutes of sleep away from me, my friend. Please don't do that next time.
Yeah, man, I feel for you, brother, because I know how that is, man. I know when you have one of your favorite arm wrestlers, and he kind of got you, like, came out of left field with that, man. I don't think you were expecting that, and probably not the best of feeling to see. So, what was your initial thoughts after watching it, man? How did you feel? Were you angry?
My initial thought
Confused?
was that I said that, Pradeep, you are a terrible person. Hermes said about four different things which I said about Vitali, and I felt like really embarrassed. How can I say so many disrespectful things about a legendary arm wrestler as Vitali Laletin? I was like, bro, I shouldn't have said that. And then I was like, did I really say that? Because I don't remember that. I went back to my video. I watched my video like a couple of times, and no, I didn't say any of the words that he was mentioning. I was saying about Vitali, and I was like, bro, where did you come up with these words from? It was like maybe they had like 20% similarity with what I was trying to say, but nowhere near what I said. Then I was like, okay, I'm not that bad.
Can you just sum up real quick? What was he actually saying? What was the problem he
Yeah, he
had?
was saying, Pradeep was saying Vitali doesn't know how to train. He don't train for anything. He's like like a bunch of different words. I forgot like half of them what he was saying, but I can assure you, and I even literally asked, requested all of the viewers in my reply video that please go there and give me the timestamps if I did say any of those words that Hermes is mentioning.
Yeah, guys in the chat, I'm interested to hear from you guys. How did you guys feel about Pradeep's video? Was it attacking anybody? Did you feel anybody should be on defense or whatever? Or were you guys just as confused as we were with that? Now, moving forward, brother, how do we move on from this, man? Are we gonna be cool with Hermes? Like, how, have you talked to him since then?
I've never been not cool with anyone 30 minutes after the issue or online arguments or discussion or fights or beef that I may have had with anyone. It takes me like 30 minutes to be completely normal, back to normal with any person. Whoever I've had may have had a small or large beef with, be it Ryan Bowen, be it Monster Michael Todd, be it Hermes Gasparini now. So I was normal the next day I woke up. Not the same night, because as I already told you, it took me 30 minutes to sleep. So I do have that 30-minute window.
The one thing I got to say though, bro, is I think when you break things down, you're coming from an arm wrestling news perspective. You're the arm wrestling news for the community, man. So when people want to just see a quick cliff notes and find out what happened.
Disrespectfully in that video at all. And the format of my videos when I discuss what went wrong for Vitali. So I do have all of the videos in my mind. Whenever there is a big event around, I'm always like, one video, whoever won, first video about him, like what's next for Hermes Gasparini. That was the video that I already uploaded. Appreciated Hermes a ton. That was only one day before the Vitali video, and my friend didn't even talk about that appreciating video for 1 second in that video. That is something that I would have loved to see. I'm not disappointed that he didn't say, but I would have been really happy, like if I did get to hear anything about that video from Hermes. So that format is fixed. What is next for Vitali Laletin? Introduction, like how the match went. What's next? What is really going to happen? By that I mean the matches that have already been confirmed. First I announce them. Then what I think should be happening in the future or could be happening, or what is good for Hermes Gasparini. Then I try to act like if I'm a manager of these athletes, what would I advise them to do in the future? What kind of matches to take? Which one will probably give them more hype and more interest, or more what to say, like kind of a aura about their future, their growth in the sport of arm wrestling. Not that Hermes needs any growth, but I'm talking in a general sense. So then I upload a video about the loser of the match. The title is always like, why did he lose? What is the real reason behind the loss? What are the 5 reasons why this athlete lost? And what is next for this arm wrestler as well? So that's the format. I mentioned why I believe Vitali lost. gave 5, 6, 7 reasons. The first reason in such videos is always that Vitali lost, or whoever lost, Georgy Svetkov lost because Devon is just a superior, stronger, better arm wrestler. Same reason Hermes lost because Vitali lost because Hermes is the stronger and the better arm wrestler. That is always my first reason whenever talking about someone else's loss. There are a couple of reasons for that. First one, the most obvious one, it is the right thing to say because clearly you won because you were the better arm wrestler. There's just no way around that. For me, that is around 90%, 95% of the reason why the result came out as it did. And the rest of the 5-10%, because 90% is known to everyone, then I talked about the rest 5-10%, then I give a bunch of different reasons why I believe what I believe could have went wrong for that person. So I discussed those 5-6 reasons, and some of those reasons were Vitali probably tried too hard in the losing battle. Whenever the buckle was on his hand and Hermes stopped him here, he started bringing him back, and Vitali's wrist was slightly cracked. At that point, I was like, if Vitali laid down in those couple of rounds, round 2 and 4, maybe he could have saved more energy for the rounds for the side on which he was winning in the second round, in the fourth round, in the first and third round, he was winning there. So that's what I said. Other things like what was that? Maybe if he was a full-time arm wrestler, he could have gotten a little bit more stronger. And this is the point that probably bothered Hermes the most. I was like, how do you know about his personal life? Like, how I wouldn't know about his personal life. He has told us, he has shown us in many of the videos that he drives a truck. When you drive truck on long journeys, he said in the videos, which Hermes probably didn't watch, that sometimes he's out for a week or so. You're no way having a gym. You're not going to a gym when you have taken your truck out for a week. You're trying to deliver some goods and ration. So
Pradeep, haven't you
that's just a
watched Over
common
the
point.
Top?
That's yeah.
Haven't you watched Over the Top? Vitali's sitting there training as he's driving the truck, bro. Come on, you know it is, bro.
Yeah. So a bunch of other reasons I can maybe look at the reasons if I want to, but I don't think it's really important there. I've already discussed that. So I just gave my reasons why I believe, and Hermes probably took it as he's focusing only on these reasons because he's trying to give an excuse for Vitali, and that kind of diminishes my win over Vitali, which should have been appreciated more, and that's why Hermes didn't like that video.
Well, you guys just heard it, man. Do you hear the breakdown, the detail, how precise he is with everything? So if you guys think that he can't break down an arm wrestling match, you're out of your mind because this man is takes it to the next level as far as detail and everything he does. And you just heard his format. It's a standard format, so it's nothing Pacific he did the Hermes or Vitali match. This is what he does with every match breakdown and all. So I'm glad you said that, bro. It kind of cleared up everything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and that format will be more clear. Go back to my channel and watch the video since King of the Table 3. Since then I've been maybe King of the Table 4. Since then I've been doing this format like without a miss, East versus West, King of the Table. Whoever loses, why did he lose? Whatever the reasons I believe he lost, number one reason is always that the opponent was just way too strong. There is no way around it. And then there are a bunch of other reasons what he could have done, should have done, or what went wrong. Where was he lacking? Was the top roll weaker than his opponent's top roll or his cupping? These are the things that I discuss, which are easily like understandable in my opinion. If you watch the video, if you have the ability to watch it even in a slow motion, you can kind of sense those things easily. And then I discuss what should be next for this athlete. Should he go after this opponent once again? Should he go for a better opponent like the Zaur Pezulaev thing? I was saying the same thing before the match and after the match as well. In 2020, 19, 18, bravery was respected a lot in arm wrestling. And don't get me wrong, it should always be respected. If you are brave enough, you don't mind taking any matches, whether it is an opponent who is way above you or slightly above you, you're always on. Give me the date and I'll show up and I'll arm wrestle. That bravery was appreciated a lot back in the days. It's still appreciated, but it may not be the wisest decision as of now because sometimes your brand value is going to take you further than your bravery. Like for Zaur Pezulaev, Zaur beat Vitali. He was at the top of the world. His super match paycheck could have gone up and up and up if he took matches step by step. Same thing. And then he lost to Georgi Swetkov, which everyone was saying that it is a stylistic bad matchup for Zaur. Then I was saying he probably shouldn't have taken that match. And people are going to comment, Pradeep thinks he knows more than Zaur in that which matches he should or which matches he shouldn't take, which matches he can or which matches he couldn't win. So I was like, maybe Zaur also knew that he couldn't win that match, but he took it for whatever reason. Maybe that thing, he was not able to see that in such a far-sighted way, that how can it affect his future invitations to the event. And what if he loses to Vitali once again on 23rd of December in the AMC tournament? Then probably he's going to have a very tough time trying to recover or get back to that hype that he always had. People comment about Schoolboy, always saying that Schoolboy, like kind of discrediting that person's social media presence, his personality, his level, that Schoolboy just arm wrestles a bunch of nobodies and he's like running away from real matches, from real talent, real arm wrestle. First of all, no, he didn't. He won his age category, youth category in the WAF Worlds, which is like a really cool thing to do. And I was like, why wouldn't he? If he knows he has a social media following of millions of people and they want to see him win, so isn't it his job to be winning? They wouldn't want to see Schoolboy getting an ass whooping, so why would you kind of blame him for taking easy matches? I think that's the thing that he should have done for even longer time, in my opinion. So protecting your brand is something that is going to be really important moving forward in the future for many arm wrestlers. And I just don't think bravery is going to be appreciated enough, and I don't think it is going to be lucrative enough in terms of financial motivation and popularity gain.
To add on to that, a good example would be with Jerry Cataract. You know, when Jerry had the wins going with Gennady and Georgie, you know, he was the man and everybody was talking about him. And then you know, he had pneumonia and he kind of was forced into to taking them to continuing with the match, even though most people would have backed out. And by taking that and losing, you know, everybody's counting him out now. Now everybody's like, he's not even up there. He's not even in the talks or anything. So I completely understand what you're saying, what a loss can do to your brand really
Yeah,
quick
yeah.
as well.
Yeah, brand is really important. If you don't have any other match to take and you just want to arm wrestle, only then take a match that you know or you think that you have a lesser chance than 80% of winning that super match. Otherwise, just take the matches that you can win and don't care about people complaining that you only take easy matches. Yes, I want to win. I want to
You
win.
know
I
what the
only sell
problem with that
I
is,
yeah,
Pradeep?
I only sell products that are going to sell in the market. I don't challenge myself with bringing new products that I don't even know if anybody is going to buy or not. That is going to hurt my shop. Like nobody's going to buy it. Hurt my motivation as well. Just keep on doing what is working for you.
But the problem with that, Pradeep, is from an arm wrestler, I hear what you're saying, but as from a promoter stance, I would have beef with that man because that was the problem I used to have throwing events is trying to get these people to lock into a match. In public, they'd be saying, "Yeah, yeah, I'll pull anybody, pull it." Now I'm contacting them behind the scenes, like, "Yo, I got this match." Oh hell no, I'm not pulling them. I'm like, bro, I just heard you in public on podcast saying you'll pull anybody, and then I'm hitting you up and you're telling me a different story. So that's the only problem I could see as far as a promoter stance, man. Because you do got to get matches, and sometimes it's real hard with all these egos.
But I'm not saying you should do that forever. So if he has a big social media following, you have a beef with him because he denied a match, he backed out of a match, then I'm quite sure that beef will end as soon as he finally agrees for a legit match.
Yeah,
It's only till that day that beef is going to last.
yeah, I agree. And I want to read off some of the chats in here from Sylvester's Talone. Right or wrong, Pradeep should continue to be open in his opinions. People will never want weaknesses put out to the public. American Made also says nothing wrong with what Pradeep said. Maybe Hermes misunderstood through language barrier. So it seems like a lot of the chat agrees with you, brother. And I think there might have been a misunderstanding. And maybe when Hermes hears this, we could clear all that up for you.
Yeah, a couple of things I didn't like about that. First of all, towards the end, he was saying that this communication, this type of communication, what I'm doing should stop. It should not happen. And Paul, I don't really like anyone advising me what I cannot say. Like what I should say, what I should have said, that is constructive, positive criticism. But what I cannot say, that is like trying to stop my ability to express myself. And I have a big problem with that. Sometimes I talk shit about Engin Terzi, whatever he said wrong about live stream commentaries back in the day, and I get in like wrong stance with him, and I sometimes I talk shit about Devon Laird because something I didn't like, and a month or two later, because my brother is also working in partnership with my channel, so he gets 50% of the revenue of all of the video. He edits all of the videos, so he gets basically 50%, maybe 40% of the entire revenue that this channel makes. So he gets worried. He was like, bro, now you have two strikes on your YouTube channel. What are you doing? One more strike and the channel is going to go down. You should not. If you feel something is bad, keep it to yourself. What are you getting after by calling out these people? And that YouTube channel, Paul, imagine that is like 70%, 75% of my earnings. So 70% of whatever I make comes from this YouTube channel. And you know what I told my brother? I'm going to burn everything down before I decide to stop what I have to say. That channel can end tomorrow. It can go tomorrow. I just don't care. For me, if I want to speak one word and that is going to cost me my channel, guess what's going?
You
It's the
say that
channel,
word. Yeah.
and not the word. That's just the kind of person I am. So for that kind of freedom, I'm willing to risk to offend few people. That is the risk that I'm willing to take. If I am given an option that you're going to say 10 different things, and out of those 10 statements, two people, all of the 10 are about different people, two of them are going to get offended, like really offended, and that may cost you some future growth as well. Like you may not get invited to East versus West or King of the Table. It can hurt your future as well, like financially as well. And if I decide to stay shut in 5 out of those 10 things, then nobody is going to feel hurt. I'm choosing to speak 10 out of those 10 things, and I don't care if those two get hurt. For me, I'm not using any curse words. I don't think I'm disrespecting anyone. If me saying that John Brzezinski cannot, in very strong clear words, John Brzezinski cannot beat Sasha at 95 kilos, that's what I believe. About three different people told me that this is really disrespectful towards the goat of arm wrestling. How can you say that? And I was like, I just said that, and I'm going to say that again and again. And if these things hurt you or John or the promoter or the viewers watching, then that's just the way it is going to have to be. You can call me arrogant, you can call me ziddi. That's a Urdu word. I don't know what the English translation to that is. Maybe somebody can translate that in the chat. But that's just what you're going to hear from me. You have many options, as you may already know what you can do about that. But to me, the most important, like for Hermes, the biggest thing as of now, Paul, for you it could be something different. For Hermes, it is becoming the number one arm wrestler in the world. For me, it is being able to speak whatever I want to speak without the fear of offending someone, without the fear of getting attacked by someone, without the fear of getting some future opportunities, growth opportunities taken away from me. I just don't want to live in those fears, and I want to say whatever I want.
I gotta say, Pradeep, that's why I call you my friend, brother, and that's why we linked up from day one, man. You walk a straight line in life, my man, and I'm the same way. I walk that straight line. You make your decision. If you want to stay in front, I'm gonna steamroll you, but I'm not gonna change my direction for you. So I like that, man. And I want to read off a couple other comments. The Fuse Music says Hermes was pissed because no one is talking enough about his huge win against a monster like Vitali. Pradeep is not the problem in Hermes' mind. Pradeep is just the first guy Hermes chose to go at. I could respect that. I could
Yeah.
see that.
Yeah, I did not, maybe, yeah, I agree. I did not appreciate his win that much because when in your mind, you already know the result. Like when you predict matches, at least you tell yourself, you convince yourself of that false reality or maybe a true future reality that this thing is going to happen. So in my mind, I had already played that match multiple times, and in my mind Hermes Gasparini had already won, so that's why probably that match didn't excite me enough. In my mind Hermes was losing against Levan Saginashvili. That's why I was having all kinds of goosebumps. I was jumping out of my chair just because Hermes stopped Levan Saginashvili, and I was appreciating it way more because I had never thought of that kind of scenario in my mind. So that's why maybe I didn't appreciate his win enough.
I love it. And we got a good one from Topol, and he says, wait, I've just lost it. Oh my god, he said something good.
I
He says,
believe Pradeep
yeah, he
was
goes, laughing out
American
loud. I
in
have
his
to
past
need a
life.
cowboy hat and a shotgun and a jug of moonshine, laughing out loud. I love it, Topol. That's a good one, man. So I got to ask you, bro. So after that big match and all, what's next for Hermes, man?
Expecting, maybe expecting is the wrong word, but demanding less respect from the fans. This is what is next for Hermes Gasparini. This is what should be next for Hermes Gasparini. Respect is a privilege, Paul. It's not a right. No matter how strong you are, no matter at what level you have taken yourself to, it's always a privilege. It's not a matter of right. And what's wrong with disrespect? I don't get it. Like, if you kind of me you start right now, if you genuinely start calling me all kind of names and you start disrespecting me, and I was like, so what? It's his show. He can say whatever I want. I can choose to leave. I can choose to not talk with him. I cannot say Paul should respect me. He can respect me if he wants. And I would love to see, I love to get some respect from Paul, but just demanding some respect, like he must show respect to the top level arm wrestlers. Yes, but in the I didn't show any disrespect in the first place. I'm talking about that extreme scenario where in some cases 1 out of 100 I may show disrespect towards the professional elite arm wrestler. So what? So what if I did that? What's the big issue about that? Like, how is, I just don't get that part. Like, if you feel disrespected by someone, the biggest thing, the worst or the best thing that you can do about it is to stop talking with that person. Nobody's disrespecting you that much that you're going to come to his space and punch him in the mouth. That's just not happening these days on social media, because everyone, in my opinion, everyone is respecting everyone in the arm wrestling world. Some people really say, they use this word that some fans are toxic, they disrespect a lot. And I was like, why don't I see those fans? Or maybe your definition of disrespect is getting softer and softer and softer every single passing day, and that's why you see that much disrespect. My threshold for that disrespect level is very difficult for anyone to reach. That's why I don't see disrespect anywhere, even maybe even my in my videos. That's why someone else may see that disrespect, but I don't see that.
I what I meant for Hermes next is meaning what.
Yeah, I got it. I just kind of changed the
Yeah,
direction
no,
of the
no, I
conversation.
understand, bro. But I'm really curious to hear what you got to say about that because I've been trying to figure out for myself what would be the proper match for Hermes next. And then the other question was for Devin next because we know that Devin is going to be going against Levon, but we also know that's some time away, and we know that Devin's pulling every month. So, first off, Hermes, who do you think is next up for him? Second, Devin, who do you think's next for him?
Yeah, CO1URZ is saying I'm soft AF if I think that disrespect doesn't come with physical outcomes. Yeah, that's specifically why I talked about these online situations. And even if you say someone that Vitali had a weak riser compared to Hermes Gasparini, maybe that's why he lost that match. Listening to that, Vitali is not going to come to me and punch me in the face. Trust me, bro. It's not that kind of disrespect that it is going to come with physical outcomes. So what's next for Hermes Gasparini? The better match for career wise, for hype, for his growth, for his momentum is Denis Siplankov, and he also wants that match. I believe he's going to win that match even more dominantly than Devon did. So that's the perfect match. But if he wants a close match, if he wants to see how he can deal with a very difficult situation, then Georgi Swetkov is the match that he should take. But if he's planning on beating Devon, and if he's planning on beating Levan in the future, and if there is even a 15% risk of losing to Georgi Swetkov, then I wouldn't advise him to take that match.
Wow. Okay. And what about for Vitali? Where do you want to see him pull next? Well, we know he's got the AMC up there, so that's going to be a big showing for him that day. You know.
AMC, good cash, good cash. There is a relation with cash between the athletes, which I have seen when the athletes come out of the slums. They train really hard from their village. They get to the top. They start getting the money, and their level increases even faster as they get the money. But with a certain level of money, when they get all the luxuries in the world, sometimes their motivation and their level goes down. Arm wrestling is never, not, I shouldn't say never, but arm wrestling is not going to offer you that kind of money which is going to divert you from your training, from your goals. So as these athletes make more money, even if it is like 15,000 from AMC, but if he does that like 4 or 5 times a year, if their financial status goes up, they can probably afford better training. They can probably afford to miss many days from their work just to train because they have enough money now. I think that is going to increase their level. So I think Vitali's level is going to increase even more in the future. The match, I would have loved to say Devon, but after watching that match against Hermes, I think Devon is going to beat Vitali, but still it can be a good match. Vitali will give Devon a good match, and it is still probably going to hype his stock up, but maybe I can think of a better match before that.
Let me ask you, do you see a reality of Devin versus Vitali before Levon?
No, I don't think Devon wants that match. He clearly said that Levan is next for him, but if he does, because Devon has all, if there is one arm wrestler that Devon feared in the past, it was Vitaly Lelitin, and he has admitted it many times himself in the videos. So maybe Devon also wouldn't want to risk even getting pinned
But the
once or
thing
twice
is,
by
I'm
Vitaly.
curious to hear from Devin after what he just seen Hermes versus Vitali. I wonder if he still
No,
feels the same way
no.
or if he's more
He
confident.
he he already answered that before the event started. Few days before that, that if Vitali beats Hermes, then he's going to face Vitali. But that too after the Levan match. That's what he said. But if Vitali loses, then he's going to go after Levan. If he wins, then he's going to go after Todd Hutchings or whoever holds the belt, the Dikian. He's going to go after them, and then he's going to come back, then maybe face Vitali. And that was if Vitali won. So I don't know what his plans are right now.
And then one other thing is, who do you think Jerry should go against next, man? Because I haven't heard much talk about.
Denis Siplenkov.
That's
But
what
I'm
I
not
thought,
sure.
man.
We discussed that match. You tried to push that, but
Yeah,
some people, for whatever reason, they're not showing, especially the promoters, they're not showing maybe that much interest in that match. I don't know why, but I think East versus West, that suits the format as well. I think that's a good match to make. That's a really good match to make.
I totally agree, and I thought that was gonna go off like wildfire, and it just nobody's really interested in it. So maybe I just got to get Jerry out there more and get him making some more noise and all.
Yeah, just use that clip, man, where in Zloty, Dennis dad moved Jerry and tell Jerry to talk about that match, that he was tired because he had a tournament before that or whatever the reason was, I don't know. And this result is not going to be repeated. They did pull in the bar, although Dennis doesn't remember that incident where they pulled in a bar, they broke a table. Do you know about that? They broke a chair or a table,
And him
something
and
like that.
Dennis, and then they snuck out. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, yo,
Yeah, yeah.
what if that bar owner is watching right now? You guys just got caught.
Yeah, so talk about these stories, tell the people that it is not going to happen, and that's what happens when you start calling out Devon, man. Like Jerry started calling out Devon a year or two ago, and then people, maybe if you've, especially if you've lost to him in the past, then people start taking you not so much seriously. And I know when Jerry is going to make that call out, people are going to make fun of Jerry in the comment section for sure. Maybe that's what he is trying to avoid, but I think he can still try his
I
luck
don't
with
know,
that.
Pradeep. He's still he's pretty stuck on Devin right now, man. He really wants that, and I've been trying to figure out if they got something secretive like locked in or something because they've been acting kind of strange, and I haven't been getting full answers from either one. So there might be something in the works in the background.
Yeah.
Could you
Yeah,
see something like
maybe.
that happening, like in Arm Wars or something?
Arm Wars January. That's what I was also thinking. Devon
Wow,
is
bro.
going
So
to be
you're
there.
thinking the same shit as I am, man. So I'm not too far off with this, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
there is
we
there.
know Arm Wars was trying to figure out top guy in North America, with Dave and
So King of the Table is not in January. East versus West is, but Jerry clearly said that he's not going to compete at East versus West. But he did say that there is something coming up in January. It's only Arm Wars, and Devon is also going to be there. So I'm not sure what's the case, man. Not sure.
I think we just figured something out, man. But I'm gonna get
That
Jerry
that MGM Grand building, like I'm not sure about the geography of USA, but how far away is that from where Jerry lives?
Las Vegas. That would be then.
Yeah,
Oh wow, so
yeah.
that's only like 2.5 3 hour plane ride. Oh, bro, I think that might be it, man. Wait, whoa. You just connected some. Well, Vitacell is also going down in Vegas in January. Also, I wonder if they're connected into this because they've been working with Neil Pickup and all that with the stem cells. So, oh wow, might have something big going in the works like that. I got to get on top and find out. Well, we're figuring things out, man. So, Pradeep, I'm glad you came on today, bro, and kind of just put some light on this situation. And I hope if Hermes is listening, he understands now. It was nothing personal. It was nothing, he was not disrespecting anybody. And, it might have been just a misunderstanding. But, I know Pradeep is a big fan of you, Hermes. So,
Yeah.
take any.
And the only thing, why am I so strict and kind of stubborn about this stance that I have, is that it is only going to increase in the future. Even if I start being extra careful, which I won't, but if I do, then 10 other people are going to arise who are going to start speaking their mind freely. And especially in the beginning phases when they have like 500 subscribers, 600 subscribers, the only way to gain subscribers fast is going to be only by speaking your mind freely, whatever you believe, without sugarcoating it, without caring too much about offending too many people. And those people are going to increase. And especially what Hermes said in the video, that he is not an arm wrestler, so how can he comment about the technique and training of Vitaly Laletin? And that's just a weird comment. I was like, why can't I do that? Of course I can do that. I just did that. It doesn't need any special qualification. People are telling me in the comment section that how you did these terrible mistakes in the video, you shouldn't have done that. How can you advise Vitaly Laletin, like what his training? Although I did not talk about his training, like what he should have done, I just said that he was clearly seen training his riser in the training videos, but still his riser was not strong enough to beat Hermes Gasparini. That's all the comment that I made about his training, and even that offended people. So I replied to those comments like, you are not a YouTuber, but you're telling me how to make a YouTube video. But I'm not an arm wrestler, and I cannot tell an arm wrestler how to arm wrestle. Like, maybe that math is not working out in my mind.
Yeah. And the whole analogy you did with the doctor earlier and all that just kind of sums everything up as well, bro. So yeah, man, I think it's just a miscommunication on everybody's side, and I think we'll be good after this. But Pradeep, it's always a pleasure to have you on the channel, brother. Is there anything you'd like to shout out? Well, first off, everybody get over to Arm Wrestling News. Make sure you click the subscribe button. He keeps us all up to date in the arm wrestling community with the news and
Yeah.
all. So,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, gladly. Fortunately, I have a lot of European arm wrestling fans on my channel, and I see many people have started appreciating your level of arm wrestling on the table, Paul. But most of them are from USA, so I would request you guys just to just to watch how Paul is arm wrestling these days. His back pressure, his pronation is becoming unstoppable. So I think we need to be more appreciative of the level of arm wrestling that you have gotten to in such a short amount of time.
Wow, Pradeep, thank you very much, bro. I appreciate that coming from you. I know there's no fluff behind that. You're a straight up dude, so I appreciate that, my man. Thank you again, brother. And guys, if you're in the chat, just please hit that thumbs up button, help me out. And yeah, we'll be on this week. I got a couple other interviews coming up. I'm gonna definitely get on Jerry Caderet as well. Get him up talking about all the recent matches and his thoughts on all that. And we also got to get to the bomb if he's gonna be pulling Devin in January. We'll get to that. So thank you again, Pradeep.